Welcome to Babies from Beyond, the podcast that gives all babies a voice, whether they are still in spirit or already earthside. I'm Lauren Dionysius, a former registered NICU nurse turned baby soul communicator, and I'm here to share the wisdom of today's babies to guide you on your motherhood journey. So in today's episode, I'm answering this question. Is your baby angry because you terminated them? And honestly, it's such a common question when it comes to terminations. So just a little heads up, I'm not a big fan of trigger warnings, to be honest, because they can fuel fear and pain and shame, even though these are the things that generally trigger warnings are trying to protect against. But I also believe that these are the emotions that we need to be leaning into because they're there. And also, termination is such a common experience, so much more common than what we may think it is or are led to believe. And so I don't believe that such a common experience that women have should be hidden or warned against. So just wanting to say that off the bat. But I also want to acknowledge that talking about termination and abortion is deeply personal, and it is a very, very sensitive topic for so many of you. So I want to really honour that as well. But also, instead of trying to protect you from that, I want to invite you to allow yourself to lean in and be curious. Be curious about your baby's perspective around this. And I say this because I really believe that if you open yourself up to hearing their perspective, it will really help you on your journey to soften the fear, the pain, the guilt, and shame that you may be feeling around all of this and around your experience. So if you've ever wondered what your baby thinks around your decision to terminate them and whether they hate you for that or if they forgive you for that, then I really want to offer some wisdom from their perspective that may help you to find some peace and some healing. And I want to add here that almost 50% of the women that I work with have experienced some type of pregnancy loss. Actually, it was 44.8% when I last checked my records. And this does include miscarriage, termination, and stillbirth. And while they all have their differences, there's also some similarities there as well. And I will lean into these, and I will be talking much more about the different types of pregnancy loss in coming episodes. But today I want to really focus on terminations. So let's dive in. So this question, is your baby angry because you terminated them? Let's just get straight to the point around this and straight to that answer that I know those of you who have had this experience want to know. And I've worked with many women who have experienced a termination, whether it's been in their younger years or more recently. And through connecting with the souls of these babies, I've never once encountered a baby soul who blames or resents or is angry with their mother for terminating that pregnancy. So let's look now at the soul's perspective. From the soul's perspective, termination is not a punishment. It's not an act of harm. It's actually an agreement on the soul level. And as I say this, sometimes as you go through this episode, it may be helpful to try to separate the human experience and the soul's experience, if that's helpful for you. But every soul that I've communicated with in relation to this knew on some level that this was going to be the most likely outcome from this particular conception. It was either known that essentially in the bigger picture this was the planned outcome, or it was highly, highly likely to happen right from the beginning. And, obviously I haven't connected with every single baby's soul who has been involved in a termination, but I can only go on those I have connected with. And those souls have never been shocked or surprised by the outcome, and to find themselves back in spirit. They seem to know even before they've been conceived, so it's never a surprise to them. And this is something that I've come to learn, not just with termination, but also in other areas of the soul's journey. And that is, you don't have control over another soul's journey. You do not get to decide when a baby's soul leaves this planet, or any soul really, just as you also don't get to decide when they conceive or when they come to Earth either. You simply don't have that kind of power over another soul. You have free will. These babies have free will. And again, in my experience, their soul knew and agreed to this before coming into your energy, into form during this particular pregnancy. So if you're one of those many women I work with who ask questions like, does my baby hate me? Do they understand why I did this? Will they ever forgive me? Are they okay? I really want you to know that they don't hate you. They understand the journey even more than you can know from your human perspective. And from their perspective, there's nothing for them to forgive. And yes, they're absolutely okay with where they are. And grateful as well, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So when I talk about this kind of thing, often a question that comes up is, why on earth would a soul agree to this? Why on earth would they agree to come to the earth and then leave again? And I will say that there can be many reasons for this, and each and every soul has unique circumstances or a unique journey around this. But I've been working with these souls long enough to know that there are a couple of common themes which I want to share with you today in case it does resonate with you on some level. The first one I want to mention is around balance, and a way to bring balance to souls is through karma. But I don't see karma as good or bad, right or wrong, punishment or reward. I don't see that. I see karma as being is like that pendulum that naturally swings backwards and forwards, but it really just wants to sit somewhere in the middle. It's always seeking that neutral ground or that balance. And for many women, termination is a soul level experience of reclaiming choice. For example, many of us have had past lives where we did not have control over our bodies. We incarnated into eras or times in history where we were forced to carry pregnancies that we did not consciously choose, whether through social expectations, arranged marriages, even non-consensual circumstances like rape or sexual trauma. But regardless of the circumstances, we were forced to continue the pregnancy and then either raise that child or give that child up. And both of these situations carry a lot of grief and trauma and guilt and shame, and also resentment, whether it's towards the child, the father, society. And these experiences and these energies, if you like, imprint onto the soul and can cause these imbalances and a sense of unfinished business. So from a soul's perspective, having an experience in this life, in this day where women thankfully can make choices that they weren't able to make in times gone by. from the soul's perspective, that's incredibly empowering and also very healing for these past experiences. So choosing to terminate a pregnancy in this lifetime is a big part of being able to bring balance to those past experiences and being able to say, no, this isn't right for me, when there were times that you weren't able to say that for whatever reason. So I want to highlight that as one of the common themes, but also the experience of a termination here on Earth. It's also not just about your experience and how that can be a gift for your soul, not necessarily the human, but it can be, depending on your perspectives and beliefs around this. But while the baby soul will agree to support you with this, it also offers a profound opportunity for their soul's journey as well and their soul's growth. When a baby comes to Earth, and this does overlap a little bit into miscarriage as well, even if they're just here for a short time, again, we can lean into quality over quantity here. This little bit of time here on the earth can help them to understand the world a little more deeply without needing to commit to a lifetime here to understand or to learn more. It can also help them to decide if they want to come back at another time, or if they're able to do or learn or grow whatever they've needed to during that short period of time that they've spent here, or with being closer to the earth through pregnancy. And it just gives them this opportunity to acclimate or to adjust to the earth energy by spending some time here and being in that closer connection with the energy of the earth. And I think too, it's important to remember that souls in spirit are community focused and connection based. So it's a team effort. They want to help you on the soul level, just as your soul wants to help them. And so a common sentiment that I get from these souls is that they feel honored to support you on your journey and to help you to reclaim your autonomy over your body. And it may be hard to imagine this, but when I connect with these souls, what I feel from them and what they share with me is these energies of joy and compassion and gratitude and this satisfaction on many levels with being able to support you on your journey, which when we think about it, that's often the total opposite to what we as humans are taught and conditioned to believe around termination and abortion, although thankfully this is changing. So again, just to really emphasize this, that it's a soul journey. It's very powerful. It's about autonomy. It's about choice. It's about balance. But I'll also say that when it comes to termination, there are differences between termination and other types of pregnancy loss, such as miscarriage and even stillbirth. The main difference I've learned from doing this work is that it's about which soul gets to make that ultimate decision. And again, as I've already mentioned, we don't have that power, in my experience, to control another soul or to take away their right to choose. Again, talking about the soul level here, it can be a different experience here on Earth as humans. But remember that these souls always know on some level that it was going to be the most likely outcome, if not the only outcome. Because I've found with some babies and some pregnancies and working with women who have experienced a termination is that sometimes when I tune into the timeline surrounding this, there was a possible timeline available there for the pregnancy to continue. And that's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It just shows the capacity for autonomy and the ability or the opportunity for other decisions or other timelines to play out depending on what the decision you as a human make. So usually with termination, the strongest timeline is it's all about the woman's autonomy, her free will, and having the choice to decide what she wants to do at that moment and what's best for her and life, situation. But again, also know that it's never unexpected for these souls. Even if there is that tiny timeline or possibility that it may continue, it's never a surprise when babies find themselves back in spirit after a termination. Whereas when it comes to a miscarriage, is usually, again, this is a big generalization because every situation is different. A miscarriage is usually the baby's decision. And there are many reasons why a baby would decide to leave that results in a miscarriage. And also stillbirth is often the baby's choice, but it's a lot to generalize. So I'll talk more about this in another episode. But coming back to this idea of choice and who makes the choice, I also don't want to underestimate or dismiss the very real human experience around the decision that needs to be made when it comes to termination, because there is always that fear of judgment, of guilt, the shame, the blame, resentment, and any other emotions that will rise to the surface as well. So I want to acknowledge the real experience, and that's something that I'm really passionate about in all the work that I do. While baby soul communication can be really healing and really helpful and bring comfort and peace and allow us to release the guilt and the shame, that's not to dismiss the very real human experience that we have on the earth. So we need to acknowledge these feelings. They're all valid, right? And we need to respect and honor them and the energy that they carry, but also realizing that much of this energy is also not even ours. It's coming from society, from beliefs, from our upbringing, but also, as I've mentioned in this episode, from past lives as well and past experiences as a soul. I believe that we do have the capacity to hold both, to hold the soul wisdom and the human experience. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So coming back to these baby souls, and I want to lean more now into what they want you to know. If you have experienced a termination yourself, here's what your baby wants you to know. They don't feel that you took their life or that you stopped them from having an experience here on earth. They're not resentful of your choice. They don't blame you, because on the soul level, it's also their choice. They had an agreement there with your soul. Also, again, no baby soul has ever told me that they were angry or that they blame you or that they missed out on anything. Instead, the most common messages that these babies share are compassion. They have compassion for you for having to make such a difficult decision on the human level. And they understand that you made the best choice in that moment, and your baby respects that decision. There's also a celebration from them that you made a choice that was best for you and that you were able to reclaim your autonomy, especially if there has been a past life history of not being able to do that. There's also gratitude that they got to have an experience as well. These babies will always learn and grow through these experiences, and they're grateful that you gifted them that experience, that opportunity of coming closer to Earth and experiencing Earth in the way that they did. It also reminds them how difficult life in a human body can be. And that's something that's really helpful to souls when they're planning a life here. It's, that difference in energy and frequency between a soul and spirit and being a human on earth is huge. And we often forget that. So remember that termination is not a one-way experience, and that on some level, baby souls agree to these experiences, knowing that termination of their pregnancy is going to be or is likely to be the outcome of this particular journey for them. They don't always know what decision you're going to make, whether you are going to take the opportunity to step into your own autonomy, or whether you will be influenced by the external world or even your own past lives as well. And again, they benefit from experiencing even a short time connected to the earth. It can be so healing for them, especially if they've been a child in a previous life whose life journey was forced to continue throughout pregnancy because of society at the time. Or also if they were a mother in a previous life who wasn't able to make the decision, this can also be a helpful experience for these souls. And even if they were fathers too, or perhaps on the other side of this experience, it can really help to give them a different perspective. And another question that women ask is, do these babies come back? Will this baby's soul return to me when the timing's better or the circumstances are different? And in my experience, the majority do not. Again, this is very individualized and it is different for different souls and different circumstances and histories and things like that. But there are some baby souls that do choose to return at a later time. So it does, to determine which way it's going to go, it does require a much deeper dive into their soul and their connection with you and your soul's journey as well. But again, termination is never about punishment for you or for them. It's always about choice, balance, autonomy, soul growth, all of these things. And anything other than that is often coming from the external, from society, from family, upbringing, friends, all of these things. Or it's coming from challenging experiences that you've had in previous lives. So I just want to say that if this information is new for you, or it's hard for you to understand, or you're feeling really skeptical, or it's just not landing, I just want to say that I was the same. What I've just shared with you today, I haven't always seen things this way. I very much believed for probably the first 2 to 3 decades of my life that abortion and termination was wrong, that it shouldn't happen, that babies were the innocent part of these experiences. And even as a nurse, I really struggled emotionally with my role in medical terminations when I was spending some time working in the operating theatres as well. It was something that we didn't do very often, but we would do at times. And I really struggled with that on the ethical level and also participating in that. But when I started connecting with these baby souls themselves and listening to their perspectives, everything changed for me. Their wisdom helped me release my own fears and misunderstandings and assumptions around this. And when I realized that these babies were not innocent victims, when I saw what they knew or understood, and that they even expected this experience, it really did shift everything for me. And their peace really allowed me to find peace too. It set my own heart free, and I'm so grateful to these babies for that. So I really hope that if you're carrying any guilt or shame around your own experiences and choices here, or even if you've noticed your own beliefs being triggered in this episode, I hope that you're able to just lean in a little more and to just open your heart, open your mind, just to be curious about a different perspective when it comes to terminations and abortions. So to finish up this episode for today, I'm not here to convince you of anything at all. It's just to offer a different perspective, and one that's based on not my beliefs or my opinions or even my clinical training. It's based on the information that I've received from the baby souls themselves, what they've shared with me, what they've shared with their mothers over the last 8 years or so. So if you are struggling with the emotions around determination, then please also know that you're not alone. There's so many women out there who have been through this experience. You're not a bad person, and your baby does not hate you. And I can guarantee you of that. So if you want to dive deeper and learn more about your own journey and soul contracts that you may have had with a baby or babies in pregnancies that you have terminated, then please feel free to reach out for a reading. I'd love to support you with that. If you're feeling the nudge to deepen your connection with your baby, whether you're trying to conceive, navigating loss, currently pregnant, or perhaps you already have baby's earth side, then I'd love to invite you to join me in Connect with Confidence. It's a 5-week guided journey where you'll learn to recognize your baby's messages, trust your own intuition, and feel deeply supported as you nurture this soul-to-soul connection with them. The doors are open now just for a few days, and you can learn more via the link in the show notes. I'd love to walk this journey with you. Thank you for tuning in to Babies from Beyond. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave me a review just wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, head over to Instagram and give me a follow at Born Energy, and check out the show notes for more ways that you can connect with your baby's soul, including one-on-one readings and online programs to support you. Until next time, trust your journey and your baby. Take care.